Hey, everybody, and welcome to Young Adults Connect online. Unfortunately, we can't be together in person, but that's going to change pretty soon, hopefully. But yeah, welcome to Young Adults Connect online. We are so pumped that you're able to join us tonight because we have some exciting things in store. And for those of you joining us for the first time, Young Adults Connect is basically where the 18 to 28-year-olds come together, have a time of worship, have a time of the word, and then break into small groups and discuss what we've gotten from the evening. And so tonight, I have two announcements for you. Firstly, super exciting, super important. Daughters Conference is just 2 weeks away. Ladies, listen, if you are not in a group yet or hosting a group and you'd like to do that, please do head over to our website where you can get more information on booking and all the other exciting stuff that you need to know. Secondly, next week Sunday, if I'm not mistaken, we will be starting our Life of Purpose series. And look, that's going to be super exciting. And we'll be having small groups where we'll just go through the course material together. And if you're interested in joining one of those small groups, then please do send us a DM or put it down in the comments section or head over to our website where you'll also be able to find out more information about that. If you're keen to connect with us on a different platform, please do hit us up on WhatsApp or Young Adults _Church Alive on Instagram. Now look, tonight, like I said, is going to be super exciting. We have two young, let me emphasize that, young married couples in the house that we will be interviewing. We asked you guys over the course of these weeks what it is that you'd like to know about. Most of you mentioned relationships. Look, I don't know what it is, but young adults are really interested in relationships. So if you're single or dating and you want to know more about marriage, then tonight is exactly for you. And if there's somebody that you think should be hearing what we're going to have to say tonight, then please do go and share the link with them. Okay, it's going to be phenomenal. But for now, I'm going to hand over to Felicia. We'll be interviewing our first couple of the night, Marion and Bradley Dickens, and I know it's going to be fire.
Good evening, young adults. And like Jenny said, my name is Felicia, and today I have the privilege of interviewing one of my couple friends, Marion and Bradley Dickens. Hi, guys.
Hi, Felicia.
How you doing?
We're good.
Yeah. And hi to Sierra and Grant. Shout out. See you guys there. And Denise and Promi. Yeah. But guys, so I have a few questions for you guys, Could you guys tell us more about yourselves? Can you tell us what your names are and, well, what your hobbies are? Quite interested to find out about that.
Hi guys, my name's Bradley, and my hobbies include a few different things. I enjoy painting miniature models and playing games, sometimes just going to the gym. I don't know if that's a hobby though. And yeah, just of course spending time with Marion, but that's more of a dedicated thing than a hobby.
Oh, so cute. I'm holding candles, guys. Sheesh.
Don't worry, guys. She's not actually holding candles right now. But my name is Marion, and I'm sure you guys already know I thoroughly enjoy playing keys and I enjoy singing. But one of my sideline hobbies is I actually enjoy baking, and I've got my own little thing where I make specialized order cakes for people. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know if being a fashionista is a hobby, but no, I'm joking.
Okay, so guys, I want you to tell us more about the background of your relationship. So, what was dating like? And I want the truth. And I mean the truth.
I think Marion should answer this one. She's in love answering this one.
I mean, dating was great. Getting to the phase where we were officially dating was something else, because someone asked me out and then cancelled, and then asked me out again and then cancelled again, and then asked me out a third time, and literally within the hour before we were supposed to meet, he cancelled on me again.
I feel bad, guys. I feel bad.
And then, just to make it, just put the cherry on top of the sundae, a couple weeks after that, he asked me out again, and we did go out. We went for movies and milkshakes and everything, but then he dated someone else. He dated somebody else for like a month. And then towards the end of the same year, him and I reconnected, and then we went out 3 or 4 times, and then he made it official the next year. We've been in love ever since.
Oh, guys, that's so cool. At the end, there was basically a silver lining. And you guys are together.
Yes, no, that a happy ending.
Yeah.
Happy ending.
So deciding to get married is obviously like a massively big decision. Like it's not a small thing, Yana, to just do. What do you guys like? Do you guys actually believe that there's a right one? Like there's a right person for people, or do you believe it's, I don't know? What do you think actually?
I don't think that there is a right one per se. I do think, look, God being God knows who you're going to pick, but I do believe you have the free will to choose who you want to be with and start a relationship with.
Sure.
I 100% agree with you, my love. I think we have been given that freedom to make the decision for ourselves. It just so happens that God, being who He is, being the one who created the universe and who knows us before we're born, just happens to know who we're going to pick in the end. And that's really special.
That's quite interesting. So, what if someone actually believes that there is a right person for them? What would you say to those people? Like, do you believe that they should actually be looking for the one, or should they be open to anything?
I think given that we ultimately have a choice, you're the one who decides what that means and who your one is going to be. And so I wouldn't say that out there in the world there's literally one human that was created for you, because ultimately it's all about you being open to discovering yourself and finding what you're looking for in a person, and then searching for that. And then at the end of the day, you can say that you found your one, but it's because you chose it, not because it was a given to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so let's get into the wedding, the nice dress, all those things. Can you guys tell us, what was your highlight from your actual wedding day? Like, I know that the girls out here thinking, how was the wedding? What did you like? Yeah, those kind of things.
Well, Marion and I actually had 2 weddings to start off with.
Yo, you guys are so spoiled. 2
Yes,
guys.
Due
2.
to COVID and stuff, we had a legal wedding and then what we like to call our party wedding. And for me, the highlight was at the party wedding. Marion actually gave a speech. And I found that very special. That was the highlight for me. And the memory I take away from that. So, yeah, I'd have to say that was my highlight.
I think one of my highlights is I got to marry my forever partner twice over, and just the second time around we got to celebrate it with all our family and friends, and that was super special. But I think my ultimate highlight from the wedding day was actually when the man who's now my father-in-law, Bernard, gave a speech. And in his speech, like, it was like second nature to him. He just called me his daughter. He's like, my daughter. And that just made me want to cry, because it sort of reminded me of the incredible family that I'm marrying into, and that I'm not just a person to them, I'm not just a daughter-in-law, but I'm their daughter, and they love me that way. And that was my ultimate highlight. It was very special.
Sure. Wow, guys. I'm going to start crying because, that was so emotional on both sides, by the way. So, okay, moving on. Like, what kind of decisions or priorities do you guys have in your marriage now? Like, I know there's certain things that needed to change, that had to change. How do you balance that without, like destroying friendships maybe, or other relationships? How do you tackle that? How do you navigate through that?
I think for us, one of the first things that I did before I got married is I had nice long conversations with my friends, and we talked about marriage and relationship in extensive detail, and it was like very in detail discussed with them that my husband comes first to me after I get married, and all of my friends were really loving and accepting and understanding about it. But
That's right. We were.
they were. I mean, Felicia is one of my closest friends. We had that conversation, and I just said to her, and I'm like, I hope you understand that once I get married, my husband becomes my priority after God. And like I say, they were just really loving and understanding. And so our relationships with our friends are still there. We still connect with them, but our partners come first. And that's one of the things that we've always prioritized.
Yes, no, I agree. We had to sort of set in boundaries with friends and even family to say this is our space, this is our time together. You sort of have to. There were also certain things where you had to die to self in terms of no longer being single. So now you have to check your time and certain things with another person. That took some adjusting, but
Sure.
it's really a seed that we planted early, and we're seeing the benefits now, and that was really cool. But it did take a lot of time to get used to at the beginning.
Sure.
And also in terms of priorities, when it comes to like life and work and the other kinds of stuff that can get in the way, we made it a priority to spend time together over the weekend, because I work at the church, and so with me working on Fridays and Sundays, it means that for a weekend we only have the one day where we really get to connect as a couple. And so we prioritized Saturday, and we made it our no screen day, and that day is purely dedicated to each other, and we just spend time together just to make sure that we constantly reconnect within our marriage and maintain our friendship and relationship.
Sure, that's quite beautiful, but that sounds like a sacrifice, but it sounds like a good sacrifice. Like, it sounds like it also has its benefits. And speaking of benefits, what is the benefits or the cost that really, really surprised you guys when you got married? Like, what are the things that you didn't have to worry about prior to getting married?
I'll go first with this one. For me, it was sacrificing my own selfishness. I mean, you get so used to living a single life where you can spend your money the way you want, you can do whatever you want with your
Yep.
time, like whatever you wanted to do, you just go for it. If your friends like, come, let's hang out at midnight, you go and you hang out at midnight. But when you're married, life doesn't look like this at all. I was just, and so one of the biggest sacrifices that I know I had to make was I had to die to self and sacrifice that selfishness and just be accountable to my partner. So when it comes to spending money, even if it's something small, like I want to go for coffee with a friend, I make sure that I connect with him and I let him know, listen, this is what I want to do, so that we are constantly open with each other, constantly accountable to each other in everything that we do. But it was a genuine a sacrifice, and it was really difficult in the beginning, like remembering to say to him, look, I'm safe at my friend's house, or this is what's happening in my day. It was difficult at first, but it's been so worth it, because now he always knows where I am, and our relationship is an open platform because of it.
Oh, that's so cute. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, no, I wanted to touch on what Marianne said, that the accountability was a big one for me, because you're now an adult, and you're leaving your parents' house, but you're becoming accountable to someone else. And for me, that was quite interesting, in the sense that at the time I was just thinking, like, I really want to be with this person and spend time with them and just grow a relationship with them. And then I was like, sheesh, but now I feel like I'm still accountable to someone. And at first I thought it was maybe be a negative thing, or it felt a bit restraining, but it's so much freedom, and it's really nice to know that no matter where I am or what I'm doing, there's someone that knows where I am or with me, which is the better part, and that can look out for me, or that can come and get me if something goes wrong.
Wow, guys, that is so, so sweet, actually. Like, I'm just here like, wow. I need to take out notes, because, I struggle to actually do those kind of things. Like, I struggle to just tell people, like, where I am, because obviously I'm single, so it's quite interesting. I must learn from you, Mary, actually. But speaking about just God, like you guys said that you guys put God first. What are some of the Bible verses that you guys like or enjoy just reading, basically?
So there's a verse that I used in my wedding speech, which was mostly dedicated to Bradley, and it's Proverbs 16 verse 9, it says, we can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps. And I think it paints a picture of our marriage quite beautifully, because for us, God comes first and then we're on par with each other, but we're in second place. And we make sure to prioritize God in everything that we do, and we try our best to be obedient to Him, and we trust Him with all of our hearts. And so I think this verse beautifully depicts the way we view our relationship and the way we view God. Like, He comes first. He's the one that we trust our entire lives to. He's the one that determines our steps. And we know that we can continue to make our plans and live our lives the way we would like to, but we know that God is continuously determining our steps. And yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Now let's go back to dating. In terms of what you guys have just said, your verse about, God determines your steps. What are the kind of plans that you guys made prior getting married and also after getting married, or for those stages in your marriage, or helped you so far?
So before we got married, so during the dating phase,
Yeah.
one of the boundaries we put in place was we wouldn't go alone with close friends that are of the opposite sex. So I wouldn't hang out with a girl by myself, and man would hang out with a guy by herself.
Single people, take note.
That's
Stop this whole friendship with the opposite sex. It ain't working.
And
Ain't
that-
gonna work.
Yes, yeah. It wasn't out of a lack of trust. It was just a boundary we agreed on, and we thought would be wise, because we are human and we can fail.
Yeah.
So rather try and prevent than cure, as they say. So yes, yeah.
I think it was also just out of respect for one another and for our relationship, just to not create space for other people to find a way to intervene into our relationship in a way that they shouldn't. And that goes the same for like WhatsApp conversations. If I have a WhatsApp conversation with another guy, I mean, being a worship leader in our church, I will often have conversations with some of the young guys purely out of a development or a counseling perspective. But either way, I make sure that I include Bradley in everything, and I make sure that he constantly knows who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about, just to not just remain accountable, but to be respectful of our marriage and of our relationship.
Oh, that is so cute again, guys. This is just like the answers for me are just, they're giving me so much life. And Christelle actually made a comment and said preparation is very important for marriage, which then brings me to the next question that I have for you guys. So in terms of developing a healthy marriage, what advice would you give to us single people? Like, what would be your advice to just wrap everything up right now?
I think growing up, every single person is exposed to different kinds of relationships and marriages. For some people, they would have grown up with parents or aunties or uncles that have absolutely incredible relationships that you maybe look up to. And for some people, you grow up with maybe negative marriages that ended in divorce, or marriages that just, they don't always work out the way that you maybe would want to see them work out. And I think the most important thing to do is to guard your heart and make sure that you don't attach secret warning labels to marriage before you've even reached that stage in your life when you're there. Don't allow yourself to look at another marriage and go, oh, I don't want to be that controlling, or I don't want to be like this or like that. Don't attach a label to marriage before you've reached that stage in your life, so that by the time you reach that level where you're like, I found the person I want to marry, that you go into your marriage with an open heart and an open mind, and understanding that you are individuals and that you're not going to be like the people you're exposed to, and create a positive platform for you and your partner to grow and go on a journey of marriage together in a healthy way. And I would encourage that if you are aware of any of those warning labels that you might have attached to marriage now already, start praying into it now and see if you can let go of those thoughts, because they can be quite negative, and you don't want to take that into your marriage when you're starting it out with your person and the one that you want to be with.
Yeah, that's a very good thing that you mentioned about warning labels. But I don't want us to just leave it like that. I want you guys, if you have some sort of advice on how to actually get rid of those warning labels, because it's one thing to be able to recognize them and say, well, I actually struggle with submission because I don't actually like to submit, but no one actually tells us how do we handle that, how do you tackle that, how do you actually get over that. I know that it's from my childhood, but what do I do now? So like, how do I actually get over it? No one actually ever goes there. If you guys can.
It's funny you say that because one of the things I actually struggled with when Bradley and I, at the beginning stages of our relationship, where we started talking about getting married, one of the things I struggled with was the actual word submission, because growing up I attached the word submission with words like negative words like controlling and horrible, and it's like being like a slave to another person. Exactly. Thank you, my love. So I always attach these negative connotations to the word, and growing up, I left it that way, and I continued to assume that I wouldn't want to marry somebody who would want me to submit because I thought of it so negatively. And when Bradley and I were talking about getting married and I realized that this was a problem, I actually took the time to look into what submission actually means. And I saw in the Bible that God calls us to submission, and that sort of made me look at it completely differently, because I looked at my relationship with God and I realized that when it comes to my relationship with God, I would never question it. If He asked me to do something, I would put all my heart and my soul into it. I would trust Him and I would be obedient to whatever He's called me to. But then He's also called me to submit to my husband if I get married, and I thought that I had the right to question that. And that made me question myself completely, because if I'm okay to submit to God, but I'm not okay to submit to my husband, even though God says that I should submit to my husband, like, what am I actually saying and what am I doing? And so it was in that moment that I took the time and I brought it to God, and I was like, look, this is how I view this word, and I'm hoping you can help me through it. And I found that after I brought it to God, I was surrounded by people that spoke differently into my life, and they taught me what it actually means to submit to your husband. And I think it's a beautiful concept, and I now understand why God says that we should do that.
So cool. Do you have any advice for single people?
Yes, my advice would be not to place too much weight in terms of expectation on someone that you're either dating or interested in the sense that it's very easy to get caught in a trap of trying to mold a person or think that you can, you sort of the cure to all their weaknesses. Rather team up with them and work together, and what happens is if you'll both do that, you'll naturally start molding each other.
Sure.
And one isn't trying to force it onto the other. And I think that's the biggest advice, especially during for single people and during the dating phase, is don't try to force things onto the other person or expect certain things from them a certain way. See who they are and just spend time with them, grow the relationship. You're not there to like I said, to fix a person or fix yourself. Also, don't go into a relationship hoping that another person will fix you. You should look to God for that first. So yeah, that would be my final piece of advice for single people.
Wow, thank you so much. I think as a single person, I've learned so much, and I know that the people that are watching this also have learned so much from you guys. Thank you so much for being a great example of marriage for us young people. But for now, we're going to tune on to Jenny, and we can see our next beautiful and amazing couple and see what they have in store for us. Let's go.
Hey guys, me again, but I'm not alone this time. As you can see, I am joined. Wow. You know, I was actually planning to intro us with the TikTok dance, but I was like, you know what, I'm not trying to be cancelled.
Do it.
No, you know that song that goes like, bum, 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 bum. Hey. What about
No, I know it. I don't want to
it.
see you do that.
Oh.
It's just
You know
too
what,
cool for school.
whatever. So as you guys can see, I am joined by Nicolette and Mulibatsi, and I'm actually very excited for tonight.
Keeping up with the Mudisenyanas.
You look, I wanted to say your surname, but I can't pronounce. So
I figured that's why you just said our name.
Yeah.
But listen, it's about to get real. It's about to get dirty. I hope you guys are ready. I don't want any filtered answered. Filtered answers.
No. We'll try to be as
We'll
honest
give you
as
the
possible.
tea.
Yeah.
We'll give
I'll call you
Sip,
out
sip.
if I feel like you're capping. I'll call you out.
No. We got you.
Oh, wait. So let's start it off nice and slow. Can you guys tell us, well, you already told us your names, but how are you involved here at church?
Hi guys, so my name is Nicolette, like Jenny said.
It's not Mulibatsi.
No, it's not actually. I'm a member here at Church Alive, and I'm part of the kids' church at Ventureland. I'm a teacher for the young kiddies there.
If Felicia was here, she'd probably be on some woo. But, you know, I'm not about
Yes,
that life.
girl.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me.
Young adults. Basically, I'm involved in young adults, and I help out wherever I can. And yeah, that's me basically.
Why is your voice coming out like that? Basically, I'm involved in young adults. And
No. You gotta push the charming
He's
one.
been practicing.
Yo, but sorry, Jenny. I just want to say, guys, please, in the comments, wish my ultra milk custard sugar the bang bang a happy belated birthday. It was her birthday on Tuesday, so please in the comments.
happy
hit her up.
belated.
Thank
Put
you.
some hearts out
Wow.
there.
Look, I'm not going to ask you how old you are. Apparently, that's rude to ask women.
I mean, it's my last year in the 20s, guys.
So we can guess. We can
it's a
guess.
happy, sad
All right.
time.
Well, if it's any comfort, you
birthday,
you look
babes.
fresh.
Thank you.
Ooh, babes, even. Hey, where's my
You know what I'm
babes?
saying?
Hey, babes. Hey.
The names get worse, guys. The names get worse.
Sheesh. All right, but what first caught your guys' eyes? Like, what made you attracted to one another? And you can be honest. If it was the booty, it was the booty.
Oh
You
my
know,
gosh.
if it was the buffness, it was the buffness. Let's be honest. What first attracted you guys to one another?
Wow, okay. Appearance-wise, I mean, he wasn't as lean and, chiseled as he is now. But I like my guys tall, so the height kind of got me. But other than that, he kind of challenged me. I like the fact that he challenged me. We were both new in our walk or our religious walk in faith. So we kind of challenged each other on that, and we kind of took the journey with each other. So I enjoyed that as well. And yeah, he was just fun to be with. I mean, we complete opposites. He's more crazy.
I was about to say, because
Yeah.
I was actually scared of you when I joined kids' church in the
lot
blue
of- a
room.
lot
Like,
of
I'm
people
not gonna
are-
lie. It was teacher Nikki and guys like her face. It was just always on.
Wow. No, it's
Like, she had a
She
resting
be
face.
like that.
a
So,
lot
like,
of a lot of people actually say
I was
I'm not
I-
approachable.
I thought you were the
Yeah.
serious one, and then he's a clown. No,
Right,
you know,
yeah.
he's a goof. So
But
like, when I heard you guys were a thing, I was like, oh, so opposites do attract.
Right.
But I
Facts.
heard you also have a good sense of humor. So
I mean, I try.
it's cryptic, but
So we complete opposites. So he kind of brought out my lighter side, I guess, the more fun side.
the best of you.
Right? Yeah, so we kind of just complemented each other, and he kind of got me out of my comfort zone a little. So I appreciated that.
We appreciate it too.
I always say to her that she was my high school crush, but she
That you
don't.
could never
she,
approach.
Yeah, she
You
never.
see these
believes
SoundCloud
me.
rappers.
No, legit.
This is how they share
No,
love.
don't say SoundCloud rappers. Just say poetic. I'm poetic.
These
Artistic.
poets, these
Artistic.
artists.
No, so when I was in grade 9, I saw this girl. She had cornrows, light skin. The tunic was a bit oversized, but
my
I overlooked that. And all my boys were like, Ntoizin, you want a girl with bigger cuffs than you? I said, it don't matter. She beautiful.
Ah, guys.
She beautiful. I'll look like I skipped leg day for her. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? But I could never speak to her in high school. And then she started coming to church. I started coming to church. I was like, it's now and never poison.
Yeah.
And then I entered, and you obviously
The
you can
rest
see
is
I
history.
won. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you did
It's
win.
the energy.
Big time.
Yeah.
I hope you know. Don't
Yo,
ever forget.
Come on, yeah.
All right, all right. So
like
like
this.
for millennials, right? I don't know if like this is true, so you guys can fact check me. But what I've heard is that a lot of millennials, you guys are millennials, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
millennial.
Okay, cool.
She's a Gen Z though.
I'm a Gen Z. How is she a Gen Z?
I'm joking. It just looks like one.
True. But I heard a lot of millennials these days are not looking for marriage. Like they're looking to marry their
But they'll
careers.
hurt
and that kind of thing.
They
So-
will hurt you.
Wow. you
That's
agree?
why.
Hey, maybe it's because you found yours in grade 9, so you were on the safe side.
Took time.
He was
You were on the
ready.
safe
Took
side.
time.
But yeah, I heard that a lot of millennials are not looking to get married these days. And so what made you guys decide that, hey, look, I want to settle down. I want to get married.
Yeah.
And start a family. Guys, they have a baby. And he's so
yeah.
cute. Shout out to baby Zai. Like,
Shout out, Zai.
yeah, just thought I should give him a shout out.
Sleep.
But like, yeah, what made you guys decide to get married?
I think for me it was just having a sense of security and contentment. Is that a word? Being content. Just the whole gallivanting of dating is tiresome. It's tiring. So just the feeling of having, that security with one person whom you obviously love so much, and having to basically spend the rest of your life with your bestie. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. So I obviously, I opted for that. So yeah, having to spend the rest of my life with my best friend it sounded like a good choice for me. So yeah.
What about you?
For me, I think so. In the African culture and the Tswana culture, one of the things you do is lobola, and one of the things I really wanted to do was honor her grandmother, because her grandmother is like she was 80 at the time, 80 something at the time, and I just wanted to thank her for raising such a daughter, because she took time, and lobola is just an honor. I think people have it misconstrued these days, where they're like, why are you paying for her? It's not about that. You buying her, it's not about that. So for us, tying the knot, it was, for me personally, it was just to be thankful and grateful to her family. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and yeah, like she said, being with your best friend forever, like, why not? You know what I'm saying? And I can't complain. I'm happy we took that decision.
I think that's beautiful. And also, what I've noticed these days, and it's mostly the girls, I'm going to call the girls out, but these days, a lot of people like to settle.
Always the hands.
Because, Nicolette, you mentioned that, like, it brings a sense of security, right? And obviously, you don't want to feel like you don't belong, or you don't want to feel like you're wasting your time in a relationship. And I feel like a lot of us young women, because, I'm still in the dating phase.
Wajola.
I'm jola not yet,
Should we
guys.
add to? Okay, we would add to.
No. But like, I know a lot of girls really just want to find a sense of security, and sometimes we look for that in dating relationships. So what do you guys have to say to people who tend to just settle for a guy who might be toxic or a girl who might be toxic, just so that they're not alone?
Yeah. I think that's why it's so important to actually be single. I think that's the best time to actually find yourself, to know you for you, to get to know yourself and just build a relationship with God. I think being single is a blessing on its own, honestly, and to use that time wisely would be the best choice. So when you are in a relationship, you kind of already know who you are and you have that foundation already, rather than actually having someone else define who you are. Which wouldn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but
so
you know,
I think
Nicolette, society likes to trap us.
Yeah.
They really like to trap us. They're always on some tip of, yeah, but when will you be ready? Are you ever ready?
Yeah.
You're always going to have to fix yourself. You're always going to have something to work on. So like when you hear all these different voices in society, then you hear the married people be like, listen, singleness is good. It's kind of like, yo, which voice should I
Is it
listen
really?
to? You're at home with your husband and you're happy. Okay, well, we think you're happy.
we are.
And we out here, well, some other people are out here
Sad
single,
generation.
lonely. So sometimes it's hard to take advice from, married people, because you have this idea that, they don't know what you're going through, when really they weren't always married. They didn't come out married.
Right.
But I think people think because you involved, or when they think companionship, they think like a solution to your problems. And when you have two people who are toxic, it's not going to be, it's not going to be successful. And I always say to the younger guys, like, well, I'm young, but the guys who are younger than me, like who are in high school, whatever.
You're young.
I am. You know what I'm saying? But I always say, like, broken glass doesn't make a puzzle. Puzzle pieces make a puzzle.
Hey, that's the poetic side
You know
coming
what I'm
out.
saying?
It's all right.
So Yeah, for me, that's just it. Like, rather be full or be whole and find healing wherever healing comes from, whether it's counseling or just fellowship with God before you get into something. Because trust me, if you're broken, you're not going to get there and get mended. You know,
Sure,
so, yeah.
that's very powerful, especially for me because I know for like myself,
For yourself.
oh, wow. Is that you? Is that you? Yeah, earlier on my English was, I don't know what it was doing, but I know like personally, for a very long time, especially in high school, I tried to fix brokenness with romantic relationships. I tried to solve daddy issues with romantic relationships. And every single relationship I'd get into, I'd find like something else that isn't right with me. And I'd always expect the person that I was with to solve that for me. But I think what I'm realizing in my current relationship, what my partner has helped me realize is like, hey, listen, it's not up to another person, you know, it's up to me, and it's up to us as individuals to better ourselves, you know. If you're going to therapy, don't go to therapy to appease the other person. Go because you're trying to work on yourself for you, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. It's a self journey. Yeah.
It is. I just want to acknowledge some people in the comment section. I see Spurgimoto. I believe Simba is there. Shout out to Anna. Oh, my mom. I see Christelle. Yeah, some people wishing Nicoletta happy
Pascal says
belated.
she was scared of you.
Thank you, Auntie Anna.
Pascal.
Yeah, she says she was scared of Nikki.
Everyone was scared of Nikki, I'm telling you.
Showing the line.
Yo, okay.
Shout out to Pascal. She's dropping a single soon.
Hey, Pascal. Okay, but on to the next question. And it says, I don't want to get this one wrong, so I must read it. What stresses do you face in balancing work, family time, and couple time? How do you manage these stresses? So give us some practical tips.
I think exactly that. Trying to balance it is the actual stress.
Is there balance?
Is it ever balanced? I wouldn't say, but you have to be very intentional about it, and actually put in an effort. Like you mentioned, we have a child. He's soon to be 2, so a toddler. And that's
crazy.
yeah.
Hey,
So,
don't they call it the terrible twos?
Yo,
I try not to call
a
it
movie.
that. It's a mindset thing, you know. So it's more of, well, because he's there, we have to be extra intentional, and it obviously is a bit harder. So I think with us, we don't necessarily wait for date night to actually have alone time. We literally take any and every opportunity we get. So whether it's the 2 hours that he's asleep, just us having a chat and catching up with one another, I think that alone makes a difference
You know,
on just us
sipping the
connecting.
tea.
Coffee,
Married people, gossip the most.
Oh, I heard.
It gets juicy, yeah. But I think literally every time that we can steal, we take an opportunity and do it, rather than actually waiting for a specific
No,
time
you're
or
right.
day. So I think that's our approach. Thank God for grandmothers, because they really come into the equation. They help out a lot. So when we do want to go the extra mile, we always have time to leave him there at the grannies. And then we go about doing our married couple things.
Hey, I won't ask what those things are, hey?
How?
PG-13.
Nah, but yeah, like it's just like she's saying, like even like in terms of like doing things for each other, like if there's an opportunity, do something, like it was her birthday on Tuesday, and I was just like, well, things weren't open yet. I don't know if things were open, but anyway, just for like protocol and stuff, we were home, and I was just like, you just gotta find a moment in the busyness, and I bought cake and I just surprised her. So it's just about like putting effort and finding a gap in the craziness. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And hey, firstly, a lot of us young people, we like to set unrealistic standards when it comes to charming, when it comes to shillering a girl,
Yeah.
So what do you have to say to people like that? Like, should you go all out in the very beginning of your relationship, like when you're still dating, and then strive to maintain that high level? Or should you just be you from the very beginning?
I mean, I think you can't expect someone to be a certain way if you're not. So I guess it comes down to, again, working on you. So if you expect loyalty, if you expect like guess, unconditional love. I guess work on you and kind of approach the person the same way you'd like to kind of be. So I think if you set out a certain energy, I think you kind of get it in return. So yeah, I think, just work on you, set your energy right and your vibe, and I think that the next person would then feed off that and hopefully give you the same. So, yeah.
I think for me, what I love the most about her is she never compromised her standards. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, "This is who I am. This is what I expect from a man, and this is how I was raised." You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna compromise that. And I think I want to say to the ladies, ladies, stop giving out marriage benefits to someone who is just a boyfriend.
I know he came for us.
No, I'm being legit
He
because
came for us, ladies.
a lot of you guys are doing over and above for somebody who you might not even marry.
But Mulibati, can I tell you, I think it comes from a place of insecurity, honestly speaking. Well, at least for me, I know it did for a very long time, where I'd like try and do everything in my power to make sure this person stays and they're happy and they're content with me, so that I don't have to go through another breakup. So I think for some people it does come from a place of insecurity, where you're like, I don't want to lose this, so I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that it lasts. But like you say, stop giving marriage benefits in a dating relationship.
And what's I'll ask you, like, you doing that, what benefit did you gain? Only thing you gained is you learned not to do that again.
Learning not to.
Yeah. But I mean, when you are dating, are you not dating with the intention of
Getting married.
getting married?
Not everyone is like that.
Yeah, not if,
I
like
mean-
in high school, for example, because I had a very long relationship in high
Even
school.
high school, even
like,
now in real life.
I'm speaking for myself. I know in high school I was dating because I was insecure and I was lonely. Obviously now I'm older and I do
Right.
want to get married. Even if it's not next year, I know that definitely I want to get married.
Baba, tsinya ring.
But not everyone's dating to get married. And like I said, a lot of millennials these days, they're marrying their careers.
And that's what I was saying to you, like, that's what I loved about her, is she wasn't compromising ever. She said, "Hey Joe, like, nah, I'm not here for fat and sit. If you don't know what fat and sit is,
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up." But she set the bar from the jump.
Yeah.
The only thing was that, like, at the time she was working and I was studying. You know what I'm saying? So we couldn't get to the next level as quickly as we would have liked to. But she never compromised who she was or, her morals or her standards, for me, at least.
Right.
Wait, you said she was working and you were studying.
Yeah, facts.
Hey, that's a very interesting one, because these days, ladies, I'm coming for us tonight. These days, Mulibati, let me tell you, especially my generation. Well, I actually like to say I'm a millennial. I was just born a year late. But anyway, especially with my generation, Gen Z, we have this idea that the person that you're gonna be with has to have every single thing figured out. Like, the man has to have a good job, he has to have a house, he has
There's a
to have a
checklist.
car, there has to be a
Pressure.
degree.
It's
Like,
pressure.
there's so much pressure, and I feel like a lot of people, ladies, I'm coming for you again. A lot of us have unrealistic expectations. Like, we have this list of things that we want to find in a guy, when us ourselves, we're not even that. We're not even half of that. So what do you have to say to people like that?
I think just open conversations, really, with the person you're with. We were very clear about it in the beginning that.
Told her straight, I'm broke, bro.
Yeah, he made it very, very clear from the beginning, and it was obviously up to me if I was gonna stick around for that or not. I honestly didn't mind that he wasn't working, and I didn't mind, taking that extra mile for paying for lunch or paying for dinner.
Hey, but I felt it, eh?
Did you?
I
Yeah,
guess
I
his
felt
pride or his ego took
No,
a
but,
knock.
so like, where my mom stays, it's like maybe 30, 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
And so she would, like, maybe from work get off at Cresta, and then she'd come, visit and see me and my mom. And then on the way, like, guys would hoot, and this is it's not the Toyota Tez, that's the problem. It's the AMG, Abu G wagon,
Benz.
exactly. So you feel the pressure as as a gent. So I won't front and say, oh, yo, I didn't feel it. You know what I'm saying? But I did feel it because also like those guys are doing that because they know that there are female expectations where like, yo, my man's got to be balling. He's got to be getting 6 figures. You know what I'm saying?
Standards, yeah.
Period. I know that's right.
Wow, yeah, you exposing your age.
But I think open and honesty would
Yeah,
be
have
the
an open
best.
dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that expectations are laid out from the
And
very
from the
beginning. There's no
beginning.
hidden expectations.
And what do you lose if you say, listen, bro, like this is the reality of my situation? What do you lose? You know, that person can either take it or leave it.
And I think it saves a lot of pain later on instead of like putting up a front, you know, and you don't want to be going into dates just to share someone, just to
Wabona?
charm someone, you know, and then later on you win them over, you get married, and then they realize, oh, this was an accident.
Yeah.
This is not the truth. But what benefits or costs surprised you guys after you got married?
Sure. So I'm personally someone that likes my own space. So obviously,
Amen.
I'm married to him, so I'm going to spend every day with him. So I think that was a big adjustment for me, having to share my space, share my time. But he honestly did a great job in actually respecting that sometimes I need my me time. So he would I wouldn't even have to say it. Sometimes he'll just pick up the signs like, oh, okay, it's that time, you know, let me just back up a little.
I think that's so important though,
Yeah.
like having someone who understands you and
Right.
knows you. Because I
Yeah.
feel like if someone doesn't understand and know you, then they'll probably
It's
get
difficult.
touched by you wanting to have that
Exactly.
alone time.
And I think because we were so ourselves, even when we were dating, when we stepped into marriage, it wasn't a new thing. It was something we kind of were used to. So just simple things like that. Obviously, when you're dating, you always try and put the best foot forward. And then come marriage, you kind of see different sides to the person. So whether it's his messy side or the lazy side.
Eban.
or-
So he's messy and lazy.
I'm giving examples.
It's an
I'm not
EG.
saying
Oh,
you
it's an
are.
EG.
It's
Oh.
an EG. You tend to see different sides to the person once you obviously married to them. So it's just about how you again handle it, I guess, and you know just your problem solving and how you approach the matter. That makes a difference. Yeah.
I think for me, the biggest benefit was just like being with someone who's down for you 10 toes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, no matter what, I can count on her. I mean, the past 2 years with COVID, work, and everything haven't been easy. And it's so easy for someone to be like, yo, I'm gone. But, you know, she's been down and she's stuck by me, stuck by my side. So, yeah, I think like that's the biggest benefit with being married, honestly, is that you're with someone who when they said through in thickness and thin, they meant it, you know. So, yeah. Shout out to my ultra milk custard.
Hey, Atramal custard. hey.
Yeah.
But as we wrap it up, what advice would you have for a single or dating person in terms of developing a healthy attitude towards marriage? Because I know for myself, what do I always say for myself?
For yourself.
Going through the most.
Ejo tsenya ring.
I'm just trying to be honest.
Ejo tsenya ring
I'm
o
just
try lo
trying to be
ko
honest.
comment. What's he saying? Settle your scores.
Pretty much he said you. But like, I'm just trying to be honest, you know. We didn't come here to be fake. We came here to be real, you know.
Facts. Okay.
And so, for a very long time, I didn't have a positive view on marriage. I know my mom doesn't mind me saying this, but just going,
out, Auntie Anna.
like seeing my mom go through 2 divorces, guys, like it wasn't easy, even though the first one I was really young, but it just wasn't easy seeing that and also experiencing it in some way. And so for a very long time, I didn't have a positive attitude towards marriage. I always thought like, oh, what's the point if I'm going to get divorced anyways? Obviously that has changed. Hallelujah, thank you, Lord.
Shout out to him.
Yo, thank you, Lord.
Yeah, that's what I say. Shout out to him.
I don't trust you. But yeah, like I didn't have a positive attitude towards marriage. It's changed for me. But what do you have to say to somebody who still has a negative attitude towards marriage?
Sure. I'll go back to what I said earlier. Being single is the best time. I'll say that again. To honestly work on yourself. And also, if you are young and married like we are, I would personally say not to involve too many third parties in your marriage. And funny enough, that actually includes family because if Jason and I were to have a disagreement, I would hate to go to my family and complain about him and almost paint a negative picture of him, which can in the long run maybe have them resenting, which I wouldn't want that. I would rather have us go to maybe a neutral person or a neutral couple who we trust, who obviously have enough wisdom to counsel us rather. So I would say not to involve too many people in your marriage. Marriage is sacred. It is a covenant between us and God. So I think that's something very important. And I think Marion spoke about it earlier, where she says guard your heart. I think that's also quite important. Guarding your heart, your feelings, your mind, and of course your marriage. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I like what you said about like seeking wise counsel. We have a lot of guys that counsel us, not counsel us, but like that are much older or have been in the game much longer, like Brighton and Muno,
Hey, shout out to them. Shout out to them.
Tracy and Craig, Mr. Watcha. There's a lot of guys, if I didn't say. Oh, Heinrich and Tina. Yeah,
You're just dropping everywhere.
yeah. No, because, Mark and Jess, there's a lot of guys that have been examples to us. Tyron and Anau.
Hey, Tyrese.
They're just coming down. Pastor J, Pastor Debbie.
Yeah.
But like there's so many examples that have helped us not to get sucked into the societal norms, the keeping up with the Kardashians, because I think our perception before we got married is like, this is how it's supposed to be, and that's a reality TV show. It's not reality,
Right.
Some of it is scripted. It's like pre-rehearsed, like they're gonna do certain things. It's not marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So having people that are a good example and give you kind of like a blueprint of how it is,
Right.
before you get into it and have an understanding, I think that's very fundamental. As a young adult trying to figure it out, and be patient with yourself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Take your time to get to where you need to be. I think a lot of people are rushing, but what's the rush? You know what I'm saying? Besides like what they call the biological clock, what's the rush?
Yeah.
But even with that, they ways around it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, slow down and be patient with yourself and be patient with one another.
Hey, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And unfortunately, that's all we have time for
Sure.
today. But guys, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
it
We'll,
was a good
we'll
time.
continue at STEMS podcast. You know what it is.
But yeah, Steps podcast, guys.
That
That's something else that Mulevatsi does. But yeah, that's all that we have time for today, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed today's interviews. Shout out to Marion and Bradley. Thank you for the wisdom that you dropped, and thank you to you two for the wisdom and
Do
the
you see what
laughter.
your man's are saying in the comments? The
What
guy
was
with the feet.
I'm at work.
Can Jenny finish?
Okay,
but-
sorry, I'm done. No, it's only a
Which is-
pleasure, Jenny. Thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure.
This
It's
was
a
good.
pleasure.
We'd have a part two.
And it doesn't end here. For those of you joining us online, there will be Zoom details that will pop up on the screen so that you're able to join us there. Where if you have any more questions, you can drop them there or just spend time connecting with one another. And a reminder that we have church online this Sunday at 9:45. Yes, we are still online this week. If you haven't booked for daughters, book for daughters. Life of Purpose starting soon. But like I said, that's all that we have for you guys tonight. See you in August, end of August. See you then.